Hello guys, welcome to a different kind of episode. Today we're going to be doing a podcast about a plane crash. So if that doesn't interest you, click off this video right now. Thank you and have a nice day. But if that does interest you, then welcome back to Bussin' Boy 21 and a different kind of video. So today we are going to be talking about the collision on Tenerife airport disaster. So let's start. Here we go. I'll be your host today, and we're going to take you back to a fateful day, also known as March 27th, 1977, when two 747s collided on the runway at Tenerife's Los Rodeos airport, resulting in the most deadly aviation disaster ever recorded. So before we talk about it, let's give you a little bit of background. So, Tenerife is a beautiful island in the Atlantic Ocean owned by the Spaniards. It's a popular destination for travelers in the 1970s, and the two airlines in our story are KLM Flight 4805 and Pan Am Flight 1736. Now, Pan Am, just for some context, was full of mostly people of retirement age because a retirement community was having them do a cruise. So a lot of these people were looking forward to getting to their destination of Las Palmas so they could get on their cruise. And now the KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, KLM, was filled with just normal people who were looking to get to Las Palmas for just vacation and stuff. And as we're about to see, that didn't exactly happen. So, the incident. Let's just start with that. So on the day of the incident, there was heavy fog in the airport, causing delays and diversions. Flights and several others were redirected to Tenerife due to a bombing at another nearby airport, Las Palmas. The congested runway and poor visibility set the stage for the disaster. So, as we were talking about, the island of Las Palmas actually got bombed. Someone put a bomb in their luggage, sent it back, and now part of the terminal was destroyed at the Las Palmas airport. So people couldn't exactly get to Las Palmas because they had shut it down. So now all flights were diverted to Tenerife's Los Rodeos airport. Now let's dive into the sequence of events that led to the fateful day on Tenerife's Los Rodeos airport. At 9 a.m., the day began with frustration for passengers because of the bombing at the Gran Canaria airport. So we've already gone over that. It forced all the flights to divert to Los Rodeos. It's a smaller airport on another island. At 10 a.m., Los Rodeos was very, very congested, with limited parking spaces for all the aircraft that had been redirected there. Thick fog had settled over the runway, reducing visibility to almost zero. It was so congested, in fact, that planes had to start parking on the taxiway. So the taxiway is where your airplane is like driving to the runway. Planes were parking there. And I'll show you a picture of the airport. There's only like 4 taxiways. So the airport is a very small airport with only one runway. So at around 12 p.m., so noon, the situation grew worse. As the day went on, the air traffic controllers were overwhelmed with all the planes trying to come in. So communication issues began to arise. And the Pan Am plane originally asked to just fly a holding pattern over Las Palmas because Captain Grubbs, he thought it would be a quicker delay, but it actually wasn't. And so he didn't tell the passengers because he didn't want to disturb or upset anyone. And then, so when they both when the plane landed at Los Rodeos, the KLM landed first, and they were actually allowed to go into the terminal. But when the Pan Am plane landed, the passengers couldn't go into the terminal because it was obviously congested, as one would think, with all the influx of the flights. So then the Pan Am captain is letting people in the cockpit and telling them about all the marvels of the Boeing 747, which both of these flights were. And he broke the news to them that there was actually a bombing. Both captains were anxious to get their passengers to their intended destination, but the fog persisted and the airport was not open. So we cannot go. So somewhere between here and 3 p.m., Las Palmas had opened back up, and KLM requested fueling, which Pan Am measured that they couldn't squeeze past the KLM, so they had to wait again. Captain Grubbs just wanted to get off, and the captain of the KLM plane was Captain Van Zanten, who was well respected in the company. So at around 3 p.m., the fog lifted temporarily, which offered some hope for departure, but it soon returned even denser than before. This led to a sense of misunderstandings and miscommunications between the air traffic controllers. The KLM and Pan Am crews were even within the cockpit crews themselves. So everyone was just tense, wanted to get off. At 4 p.m. tensions were so tight, running high into the cockpits, the KLM captain, convinced he needed to leave as soon as possible, made a fateful decision. So he was taxiing down the runway. They both requested taxi permission. KLM was at the takeoff point, just ready, and Pan Am was still taxiing, confused about which taxiway to pull out of. So, without proper takeoff clearance, the KLM plane 4805 began to taxi down the runway, while Pan Am 1736 still taxiing on the opposite direction. So KLM set full toga thrust, and the co-pilot of the KLM plane was actually trying to say, hey, no, you can't do this. So he asked for clarification with ATC, but unfortunately, ATC and Pan Am both chimed in at the same time, creating a couple seconds of a harsh noise that would not be good, and no one could hear anything. So at 4:06 p.m., the collision was inevitable. So flight 4805, with its engines at full takeoff power, crashed into the upper fuselage part of the Pan Am flight 1736, right through the lounge, actually at the Boeing 747. Its gear struck. KLM actually got in the air, but then crashed back down, and just was obliterated into pieces, which annihilated both aircraft. Within seconds, more than 580 lives were lost. The survivors faced unimaginable horror and chaos as they struggled to escape through the burning rubble. So, that was how that happened. Now, let's talk about the investigation. So, after it happened, a thorough investigation was conducted to uncover the true causes and contributing factors behind the tragic events that led to this horrible. The investigation was led by the Spanish and Dutch authorities, along with assistance from international aviation experts. So, communication and breakdowns. One of the primary findings of the investigation was the breakdown in communication. Multiple misunderstandings occurred between ATC and the flight crews of both KLM and Pan Am. Language barriers heavy accents, and the use of non-standard verbalization all played a role. And in fact, you could actually hear like a football game in the ATC, which shows they weren't probably paying the most attention. Poor decision making also led. So Russia to depart, and the fuel concerns and the frustrations of passengers waiting for hours also contributed to this disaster. The captain of KLM Flight 4805, Captain Jacob Van Zanten, made the critical decision to attempt takeoff without a proper clearance, which proved catastrophic. So, now we're going to talk about cockpit management, or crew resource management, whatever you want to call it, CRM. The investigation also highlighted a lot of issues within the cockpit. The hierarchy played a big part in it, which the captain thought he had authority and wouldn't listen to the copilot. Flight engineers hesitated to challenge their captains, which is not something that should happen. So, the Tenerife airport disaster had far-reaching implications for the aviation industry. It served a lot of purposes, and now we have improved. So, one, standardizing phrases. So you must use departure when talking for takeoff. So you have to be clear about that. 2 is CRM. CRM was not good that day and would need to be open and effective communication throughout the cockpit. It emphasizes teamwork, cooperation, and the ability of all crew members to voice their concerns. So enhanced training also. We wanted them to be more trained in decision making and critical situational awareness. To navigate the complicated situations that one would occur anywhere. So improved ATC procedures, air traffic control procedures were updated to emphasize safety. Something I want to note is Los Rodeos did not have ground radar. So there was no ground radar at Los Rodeos. So we want to reduce the chances of misunderstandings. Co-pilot of the actual Pan Am flight, he survived and shared his account, which you can go find on the internet. I won't read it all exactly. I'll just say, man, he has a good account. So if you could, I would definitely want to get into that. So everybody, that's going to be it. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. If you found this interesting, definitely subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because if I get good support, there will be more videos like this. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful